Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Superhero Edition. That's right, we are back with a superhero episode. It is going to be action-packed, jam-packed for y'all today. We have the captain with us, Mr. Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today, sir?
It's always a great day when I can hop on here and talk about superheroes.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So, our last episode, we were previewing Black Adam and Wakanda Forever. Today, we're going to review, talk about Black Adam, talk about Wakanda Forever. We're also going to talk about the passing unexpectedly of Kevin Conroy that just happened this a couple days ago. So we're going to be talking about those big things. Got to give the spoiler warning. There will be spoilers. Make sure you go see Black Adam in theaters. Go see Wakanda Forever in theaters. And yeah, so let's get right into it. First with Black Adam. Byron, we saw Black Adam almost a month ago at this time, October 21st.
Yep.
Just spoiler dive in. What did you think of the movie? The hierarchy of DC change? Like, what did you think?
I enjoyed the movie a lot. Rock did, everyone, the cast did great. It was good to see Hawkeye, the leader of the JSA. I was not expecting that. But it really the movie just starts off with like the backstory of Black Adam and how he became to power, which you later find out that the story he told at the beginning of the movie is actually his son becoming Shazam, and then later in the movie, you see how the story actually unfolds, where the king at the time, killed his family, and then Shazam had to come, his son had to come and give him the powers of Black Adam. So then he goes in and like basically kills the king, and the gods had to lock him up because he was on a rampage. Then we get to present day. I forgot the military's name that's taken over, like the Condot. So basically, Black Adam comes back because of a little ritual that the main actress did in his little tomb area. So he comes back and basically starts wreaking havoc on the little paramilitary group. And then like find out that the main villain is one of I can't think of her name right now. Was in her group, so as we always say, be our own people.
Like
So
her cousin? I think it was like her
yeah, it was
cousin.
like her cousin, or something like that. He is the main villain, so at the end, he basically gets the powers of a demon, and Black Adam and him fight off. It was actually a great fight scene. Actually, great fight scenes throughout the whole movie. Hawkeye versus not Hawkeye. Hawkman versus Black Adam was a great fight. So just great fights throughout the whole movie. Pierce Brosnan did really, really good as Dr. Fate. I think he was probably like the star of the movie. He just embodied Dr. Fate so well. And then, at the end, he does sacrifice himself to try and stop the demon. And then, Black Adam does have that character arc where he turns himself into the JSA to get locked up because he doesn't want to keep destroying everything. And then Dr. Fate's plan, why he's sacrificing himself, is to get basically Black Adam to realize that his true potential. So Black Adam comes back and basically rips a demon guy in half, which was unexpected to see in a DC movie. See somebody ripped in half, but overall it was good. And then you wait for the post-credit scene, and then Henry Cavill shows up as Superman, which was rumored. I wasn't going to believe the rumors until I saw the movie, but saw the movie and Henry Cavill is officially back in the DC.
Yeah, so a couple things from like the movie stuff. Like Pierce Brosnan, he was a standout. Everyone loved him as Dr. Fate. Everyone wants now a Dr. Fate movie, and with him dying, we'll see how that goes. Obviously, The Rock has said this movie's taken him like 13 years to make. So he was very proud of it. And the movie was doing well. Movie was #1 in the box office for the past 3 weeks until literally Black Panther. So it did well. I'm still making some money too. And the biggest thing was Henry Cavill officially being in the post-credits scene where we're all just like, oh wow, he's like really back. And then literally 2 days later, he had posted a video on Instagram saying he's back. He's back as Superman, and you saw the world go crazy, man.
Because no one was expecting it. Like the world has been clamoring for Henry Cavill to come back as Superman. We basically find out that again, Warner Brothers, just hate them so much. Find out that no one at Warner Brothers wanted to bring him back. The actually Walter Hamada, who was the CEO of Warner Brothers, stepped down like couple days before the movie actually released, and then like maybe a week and a half after the movie release, we find out that James Gunn and I forget the other guy's name
Peter
are now,
Safran.
yeah, Peter Safran are now co CEOs over the DCEU universe. So while stuff has happened around Black Adam, so basically like the tagline is the hierarchy of DC has basically changed.
I think it's crazy too, because I mean, I don't want to say dry snitching or sneak dissing, because when
Hmm.
Cavill posted his announcement, obviously the whole Rock team, him, Garcia, and all them were retweeting saying they told us no, we weren't taking no for an answer. We're like, who was saying no?
Right.
And why were you saying no to have Henry Cavill back that you guys picked him as Superman in 2013? So then obviously, like you said, Walter's gone and they had to go the head. And now James and Peter are taking over. So it's very interesting. Another thing about Black Adam, two more things. He killed a lot of people. A
Yes.
lot.
Yes, he did.
So he was it was not he was not friendly. He was killing a lot of people. And also there was big controversy from a critics versus fans thing on Black Adam, because Black Adam had a 40% like on Rotten Tomatoes from
Hmm.
the critics, but fans they had it at 90, and it was the highest. Because obviously Rock was posted because he's a master marketer. He was
Hmm.
posting that 90% fan score because it was the highest rated fan score since the Dark Knight trilogy. So they were
Hmm.
he was pushing that, and he's like, "We do it for the fans. We do it for the fans. We do it for the fans." But Byron, some of these ones, there's been some disconnect between critics and fans. I mean, She-Hulk had the same thing
Yep.
where critics liked it,
Yeah.
but fans were like, "This sucks." Like, it's
I don't know what's going on with like critics and the fans. Usually they're kind of on the same page, but like the
Mhm.
last few comic book stuff, like it's been fans like either love it and the critics hate it, or the critics love it and the fans hate it. It's wild, but I guess I don't really trust critics' opinion until I see the movie myself. So I mean, I read them
Mhm.
just to see like what they're saying, but I always like to go in and form an opinion on my own.
It is like, what are you looking for? Like, obviously, like critics were like, "Oh, this scene wasn't lighted properly," or like,
Hmm.
what are you looking for? Obviously, like fans, especially like little kids and all. So if you're just going there, have a good time, see your favorite heroes and villains go at it.
Hmm.
But congrats to them. It's going to be interesting because that's the last movie for DC until next year. And
Yeah.
Shazam 2's trailer looks really good. We don't know when we'll get an Aquaman 2 trailer.
Um, I don't know when, because they keep pushing back release dates for Warner Brothers Discovery. Because it came out like right before Black Adam came out, or either right after that. Warner Brothers Discovery has lost like $200 million since
Mm-hmm.
they merged with Discovery, which is wild to see. So they don't really have enough money to be releasing movies. So they were supposed to release Shazam 2 in December, but they had to push it back to next year because they don't have enough money to promote the movie or release it this year. So I don't know when we'll be getting Aquaman or The Flash. Hopefully Shazam 2 has now a hard release date, but I wouldn't be surprised if they push that back again later next year because I think it's supposed to be coming out in May or March of next year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pushed it back again.
I wouldn't. with the Shazam 2, I would also say that unfortunate but good that it did get pushed back because this original day was going to be the same day as Avatar.
True, true, true.
So you might as well just push that back. And I mean, currently it's Ant Man, Shazam 2. Let's see, it's looking like Shazam, Flash, Aquaman, and potentially Blue Beetle are supposed to be in 2023. And at least Shazam's already had a trailer, so it's
Yeah.
scheduled for March 17th, 2023.
Okay.
And then like again, we haven't had any trailers for Flash and Aquaman. And I'm gonna say this right now. DC, Marvel, any movie, the movie I'm most anticipated for me is The Flash.
Yeah, I am too. Well, I guess it's me. For me, it's tied with Ant-Man because Ant-Man is about to be insane. But with the Flash, I'm anticipating it because it has so much controversy surrounding it with Ezra Miller and all their antics this year.
Well, apparently it's tested really well and also, but I just need to know because this movie has to be super good for Ezra Miller to still have a job. That's why
Yes.
it's my most anticipated movie.
Yeah, I agree. It has to have something wild. Like I would say a surprise cameo, but Henry Cavill was probably like the biggest surprise cameo. I mean, we already got announced that Ben Affleck will be in Aquaman too, so that
And he's supposed to
I
be
don't
in
know what others.
Flash.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So I don't know what other surprise cameos they can have. I'm like, yeah,
So
and they're covering Flashpoint, which is
yes.
a big storyline in DC. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah, so definitely want to see how that all goes because I mean, with James Gunn and all them at the helm now, things are looking up for them. It's because I mean, we've
Hmm.
come on here, we've like, oh, who's going to be the next Kevin Feige and all that stuff, even though we never expected someone within Marvel to be the next
Hmm.
Kevin.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's had the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, which apparently, I guess now Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be his last project with MCU for a while. I did see a couple tweets that him and Peter Safran did plan out like the next 5 to 10 years for the DC EU. So I'm excited to see what they can do with it. I like James Gunn as a director, so hopefully he'll be able to come in and produce some good stuff for DC because they've been struggling like the last couple months with that Discovery merger.
Yeah, that's just how big business does. I mean, just look at Twitter. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
how it's how big business does, and then you ride the course, and it's just one of those things like where if things aren't super good, I mean, because they also got Peacemaker too and all that stuff coming out too and all that
Hmm.
stuff, but like when things are really good, it hides stuff. Like we're gonna transition to Black Panther, and you see no one talking about like, oh, those poor underpaid people that Marvel was underpaying, the effects people. No one's saying that because people liked Black Panther. Some of the
Hmm.
previous MCU stuff that people didn't like, they're like, oh my gosh, we don't like this trash and they're not paying these people. We need to fight for those people, which they're not saying that because they like the movie. But
Yeah.
no, Black Adam was cool. We'll go to Black Panther now. Just came out this weekend. We all saw it together.
Hmm.
Obviously, this movie also had some alterations and things like that because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman. The original Black Panther 2 is going to be showing how T'Challa deals was coming back from the blimp and things of that
Hmm.
nature, and all of that had to get changed. Going into this movie, a lot of people, I don't want to say controversies, but questions like, should they even be making Black Panther 2 without T'Challa? Because, like, what the hell are you going to do?
Hmm.
There's a huge debate. Should you recast him or not? Like, what are we
Hmm.
going to do? Can they do this without him? And the movie, Byron, how did you feel about the movie?
Oh man, I love that movie, man. It's just so good. It tackles the issue of the passing of Chadwick Boseman in a very beautiful way. It starts off like it immediately goes into the story of him passing. So like in the movie, you see that T'Challa has come down with the sickness and they need the heart-shaped herb to potentially save him. But in the last movie, Killmonger burned all the heart-shaped herbs. So they have to make an artificial one, but they didn't make an artificial one in time. And like you see, it's passing. Then you start off with the funeral, and it just, like I said, it just goes in to the story deep. Before that, like the little Marvel opening, literally just had all of Chadwick Boseman in the as Black Panther and the opening, and you can literally hear everyone was super silent during the Chadwick Boseman intro, which was I thought was beautifully done. I thought they did his passing beautifully done as well. Goes into the funeral, and then just starts in the movie again. Just a great movie, a lot of great action scene. Tenoch Huerta did very very well as Namor. You really felt for him and his story about like his people were struggling, so they went into the ocean and found this plant. They took this plant, basically it turned them into his people, so they had to go into the city, underwater city. Then his mother ends up dying, so he has to go take her back because she wants to be buried where she's from. But then you see like all these slave traders, and basically they kill the slave traders. And he's basically said, "All right, I'm done with the world." He does introduce himself as being a mutant, which is wild to see because we had Miss Marvel mention it a little bit in her final post-credit scene of her show. But to see them utter the word mutant on the big screen is wild because I knew it was coming, but I know it was going to be this soon that they were utter the word mutant. And you just explained that, his ears are pointed and he has wings on his feet, which makes him a mutant. He's like super strong and super fast, basically rivals the power of Black Panther. One scene in the movie, which was very unexpected, Queen Ramonda dies on an attack from Namor. And then basically Shuri is like, all right, it's time to go. So she reconstructs the heart-shaped herb, gets the power of Black Panther, and wants to kill Namor for revenge. Another cameo, which was not expected. When you take the heart-shaped herb, you go into the astral plane, and you see Killmonger sitting on the throne, and he says, "Hey, little cousin," and basically says, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta take revenge, kill Namor, and get it over with. So we go to the end battle with everyone. Great battle scene, ending it. And you see that she doesn't kill Namor, so maybe that could team up in a future Black Panther movie with the Talokans and the Wakandans fighting with each other against the government, because now the government's after Wakanda because they think they killed all these people on a ship earlier in the movie, which it was the Talokans, but they never, the Wakandas never tell the government that. Introduced to Riri Williams in the movie, she's the one who creates like a drill to.
She's the main reason this movie happened. She's the whole problem.
She is a whole problem. She creates a drill to drill for vibranium, which goes deep into like the Talokans' territory. So they're upset about that, and Namor wants to kill her, but Shuri wants to protect her. So she's basically the reason why the Talokans and Wakandans are at war. But she builds a sweet mech suit out of vibranium later in the movie, but she does not get to keep. So interesting to see what she does when her show comes out, Ironheart. Overall, I think the movie was very well done. Definitely tackled grief in a great way because you can see Shuri's character arc of the passing of T'Challa and the passing of her mother 1 year apart from each other. So I think it tackles grief very well. M'Baku is hilarious in the movie, as always. I think he did a great job. I think he may have stolen the show. Like all his scenes were just amazing. Namor, very, very well done villain. Overall, I think I would give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add a couple of things for the stuff that you said. Like you said with like Riri, she's the whole reason this movie even happened because they find her and like if they would have just gave her to Namor, movie would have been over. But they wanted to
Mm-hmm.
protect this girl. I mean, Riri's the reason that Ramonda dies because she uses her
Yeah.
last remaining strength to save Riri, and she even's like she protected me like I was her own child, and that motivates her in the
Mm-hmm.
fight too. So she was a big center part of this movie, and her going to Wakanda and like the FBI wanting her because she's so smart because she can build Iron Man suits,
Mm-hmm.
and she's only 19, so that's something where you're gonna have to watch out for her, like you said, in Armor Wars. And the thing with the heart shaped herb, I do like how this movie tied a lot of stuff back to the first movie. Even
Mm-hmm.
like the first meeting with the elders and all that. And Baku's like, well, we would have had y'all were the smart elders, the elders who put Killmonger on the throne. The reason we don't have any heart shaped herbs because of y'all. It
Mm-hmm.
all kept going back to kill like the first movie, which I like that because you don't want to forget your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even there's a very emotional scene where Ramonda doesn't know if Shuri's dead or alive because she is
Mm-hmm.
in with Namor at his place, and she strips Okoye of being the commander of the Dora Milaje.
Oh man, that
And,
hurt.
and Okoye, and then Ramonda was even like, "You went with Killmonger too."
She
So
did. She did. She's like, she's basically, I've been very nice to you since, Killmonger took over the throne and everyone sided with him and, not with me. Um, but she's like, I'm basically, I'm done with you. And then
yeah,
she strips her of the power.
because she's giving because the elders like, we're being too hasty. She was ready to kill her husband for Wakanda, but then
Mm-hmm.
Ramonda's like, well, he's in jail. She could go visit him. All of my family's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Okoye also becomes basically a superhero now in her own sense. She becomes
Midnight Angel.
yeah, Midnight
Created like
Angel,
a tech suit that Shuri built her,
which
which
was
looks
a
badass.
which was a running gag throughout the movie because she was like, man, I don't want to wear that. That's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool in itself. And also Okoye had a feud rivalry with I guess you want to say, the leader of their little special force over there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool that they got to fight it out as well. But I mean, even at the beginning of the movie, they're dealing with a lot. T'Challa's dead, like Ramona said, and then people are trying to do these things for vibranium. And
Mm-hmm.
that was badass how Ramonda brought the soldiers to the United Nations. So that was really cool in itself. And like it just made everything make sense. He had
Mm-hmm.
an illness, and the only thing that would have saved is the herb, which they don't have anymore. And the only reason they're able to make new ones, which is just crazy, is because Shuri went to Neymar's place and got
Mm-hmm.
that necklace thing.
Yeah, because that necklace basically, I guess, like the Talokan herb,
Mm-hmm.
heart shaped herb. So like give Namor his powers. And she was able to synthesize it and match it with T'Challa's DNA and create a new heart shaped herb.
And she was able to make at the end of the movie, they're planting several of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the heart shaped herbs back. So it's crazy, that type of thing. And do you feel like it was weird that they didn't announce them to the world and that they were taking all the blame for them?
I think I I was okay with it because if it leads to like a Talokan Wanda Wakandan team up, which would be badass. I think they took the blame because they know like Namor said, I got basically a big ass army, so like we're gonna take over the world. So I think they did it to protect Namor, so like war wouldn't start. So I think it was a good idea.
You think Namor has a TV down there?
No,
So I'm just saying, like when you say, I was like, bro, you really think you're about to just come and take over the surface world, and you don't think like they're gonna retaliate?
I mean,
They got metas too, man.
he has big dreams. Okay.
Like if he would have just showed up and he was also like, I don't know, like the Hulk, and was like, when did the surface world have people like this?
I mean, he does come to the surface world because there was a one part when Nakia was investigating to how to get Shuri back. She
Mm-hmm.
did speak to a local who said, yeah, he comes up on the beach every once in a while, so maybe he has seen the Avengers, but I don't know how he's getting past Hulk and Thor, but
I
he
mean,
can
there's a
try.
lot of people, even like weak ass Thunderbolts, which maybe that's what's going to lead to their movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do hate that girl. She sucks.
Val.
She's terrible.
I mean, she's been creeping in every other Marvel project, so
She's trash.
getting the Thunderbolts together.
Trash. She was trash ever since she lied to oh girl about Black Widow dying because of Clint.
Yep.
But no, there's so much in this movie. You really see Shuri take center stage, like her grieving into her work and
Mm-hmm.
all of that from wanting revenge to, I mean, it was M'Baku who was like, hey, if remember, he's like, they don't call him like king or whatever, they call him Cuckoo.
Kukulkan, the feather serpent god.
Like, so if we kill him, they're gonna be coming after us forever.
Yeah, I like how he stepped into like Shuri's big brother role because he did. In the movie, he did say, "I promised T'Challa that I would look after you." So he definitely was in there keeping his promise to T'Challa, which I thought was beautiful because in the last movie, he's basically was like his pseudo rival in the
Mhm.
last movie to just being and helping out the family as much as he could.
Yeah, so that was really, really cool with her. Then seeing her ascension. I mean, she's now queen,
Hmm.
so we're gonna see how.
Well, maybe because in the movie at the end, they did have their challenge day. So basically, who wants to challenge for the throne? And then we see like the Wakandan ship come out, and we thought Shuri, but nope, it's M'Baku. Who's like, I want to challenge for the throne.
Yeah, that's true. If she didn't show up, we did see she was finally grieving her brother's death.
Hmm.
So that's true. We'll see how that goes. Black Panther will return and all of that. And when you say like those two nations teaming up, I do want to give just for the comic book perspective, like T'Challa and Namor, like Black Panther, and then like they do have beef in comics. Like it is
Hmm.
like they just do not like each other. So we'll see how that goes.
Hmm.
There was a part where it was the I think X-Men versus the Avengers comic where if they do that it'll be crazy where Namor flooded all of Wakanda.
Yeah, he basically almost did that in this movie, like that
Mm-hmm.
first attack on Wakanda.
Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, it's good how they paid it off because we all expected Namor in 2019 when they're like, oh, there's been earthquakes in the tremor of.
Hmm.
I mean, we knew it was him. Like, we're like, of course, okay. It's like we're handling it. I was like, oh no, that's Namor, man. He's probably like, I don't know if they all disappear. Like, where'd half my people go?
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
I mean, it said half the universe. I don't think just because you live underwater
you
that.
escape it.
But her and Namor and Shuri bond will be interesting since he drew like the picture of it in like
Hmm.
his home and like that. One of his soldiers was like, I've always wanted to fight with you. I didn't want to see you kneel. But
He was
he's like,
like,
well, you could
I
have killed
kneeled
me,
for a
dude. I
purpose.
lost.
Right. He was like, I yielded to save my life. And hopefully, when they need us, they'll come and we'll be able to have two powerful nations fighting against the world
Yeah,
together.
yeah, because he's like, no one likes them now. It's like, well, because they're taking the heat for all your stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what can you do? What can you do there? It's crazy because this is the 30th movie in the MCU, the
Hmm.
30th. and it's the last movie of Phase Four. As because we've talked about on previous podcasts, they're ending Phase Four with this because no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Fans were bitching about Phase Four. It wasn't it. It
They
wasn't it.
they were definitely bitching about all of Phase 4. Kevin Feige said, "All right, I'm tired of y'all complaining. Y'all want Phase 5 and Phase 6, and when's the next Avengers movie coming?" So he laid it out the next 2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was mad. Like everyone just wasn't messing with Phase Four, which okay, it had its hits or misses, but
Mm-hmm.
he said he literally got tired of it. He really did. I want to see if I can get all of Phase Four, as they're calling it, the multiverse saga.
Multiverse saga.
So
Coming
Phase
issues.
Four had Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther from
Yes.
films. TV shows, because Phase 4 is also the first one where they actually counted WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. And then television specials, Werewolf by Night, Guardians. It's kind of crazy how you're like, since with now them using Disney Plus and WandaVision being the first, you have so much. All this happened this phase.
It was a lot to catch up on.
So now it's like, and we know what's next. Ant-Man and Wasp are the first of Phase 5. Kang is going to be shown, which he was not in
Kang.
any post-credit scene here. Black Panther they basically copied Furious 8 and 7 when
Mm-hmm.
Paul Walker died.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously Brian's one of the most important people in the Furious thing, and T'Challa is the most important person in Black Panther, where you find out that Nakia and T'Challa had a child. That was just a mind blown.
I was not expecting that. I thought they would do the usual Marvel mid post credit scene where you get a glimpse of a future project, like the next one coming out. Like, so I thought we are gonna have some with like Ant-Man and the Wasp or something like that, maybe Secret Invasion, or I don't know. But you see, Shuri goes to Haiti to basically mourn the loss of her mom and her brother. And Nakia is in Haiti. So she comes to the beach. She's like, I want to introduce you to somebody. She's like, this is your nephew, Toussaint. And then Toussaint and Shuri are talking. He's like, can I tell you a secret? Shuri's like, yeah. She's like, my name is not Toussaint. My real name is T'Challa, and I am the Prince of King T'Challa. I was like, oh,
The son of
that's
King
beautiful.
T'Challa.
Yeah, son of King T'Challa. I was like, that's beautiful.
Yep, same with like Furious, where they named Vin Diesel's Don Torello's kid that he didn't know. They named him Brian to continue the legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So, which that kid wasn't like a baby. He had to be
No, he
around 3 to
was.
5.
Yeah, yeah, 35. Because I think it happened like because
Because
it
it
would have had
happened
to
during
happen
Infinity
before.
War. Maybe during Infinity War.
Yeah, it would have had to happen before that because this movie is 5 years later
Hmm.
after like Infinity War.
Yeah, yeah. So it could have been. I mean, after Black Panther won, and like the mom knew, Queen Ramona knew about it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very like Shuri was the last one to know. Apparently,
Yeah, because in the movie, Nakia says this is the reason why we weren't at the funeral because T'Challa didn't want him to be pressurized into like basically being king. So like we knew he was sick and we had our own like literal funeral for him. So like I don't know if they're ever gonna take him back to Wakanda. We'll have to see.
Yeah, if the MCU goes that long for, or they just do a time skip where this actor's like a teenager
Mm-hmm.
and wants to rule, then you have a whole interesting thing because they don't want to make the same mistakes that they did with Killmonger. Because just like
Mm-hmm.
T'Challa told his dad in the ancestral plane, like y'all should have brought him home. The only reason is
Mm-hmm.
because you messed this up. You killed the dude's dad, your brother.
Right in front of them.
Yeah, and then you didn't, and you just left the kid there. So then that's why he hates this, and like all this happened because of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they're not gonna mess it up. Like sooner or later, he's gonna have to go back. They're gonna have to reveal it, all of that,
Yeah.
all that jazz. But hey, we'll see. We'll see if his dude's only for this movie. If Black Panther 3 happens and he shows up maybe like preteen, 12, 13, or
Yeah.
depending on how many years pass, still 5. But we'll see, because now they have their family line tree is still in place.
Still intact.
But no, the movie was really good. Do want to just say a couple things too about the movie that I need to pull up. I apologize. Just to put this movie in perspective, where art thou? Because Black Panther. Well, first, Black Panther breaks the November opening record, 180 million at the weekend box office, biggest opening weekend in November ever in history. The second biggest opening of the year, only behind Multiverse of Madness, which is great, which I get because we all thought Jesus Christ and everyone was going to be in that movie.
We did.
So it makes sense why that was the biggest box domestic. And it's the 13th biggest opening of all time. There was more that I was going to read about from. Here we go. So I already said that 15th biggest opening, well, top 15th, 13th, the fourth best opening for a solo MCU title hero, and currently right now 330 million worldwide opening weekend.
Love it. It just came out Thursday, so it made that in like 3.5 days, which is amazing.
And Ryan Coogler becomes the first black director with 2 films in the top 15 biggest openings ever. He
Love
is
that.
the first solo director with back-to-back openings of 180 plus. Coogler's first 4 films are certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes, 94, 95, 96, 84 currently.
Love that.
So yeah, man, and that's a success. And unfortunately, I don't know how it won't make as much as it should, because China's not going to let it show because of one little heck on the
One,
forehead between Dora Milaje members.
it was like literally like 5 seconds, and
Mm-hmm.
then China government was like, no, that's too much.
Yeah, they're like, that's too much gay. That's basically what they were saying. And we don't allow that over here in China.
Yeah.
So what can you do, man? But definitely go check out Black Panther. It's really good. It's really emotional. It hits on a lot of things. I really don't have any criticism for it besides my usual MCU criticisms, like where was everyone else at?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's probably the only criticism I have to, because like I mean
I
I
did.
did do like a time skip though, so I don't know.
I just
Hopefully they reach
wonder.
out to like them after the passing of Black Panther, but like I said, we didn't see that because Black Panther passed and then title card 1 year later, so
Yeah,
we
because
don't know what happened in
we
that
will
one
never
year.
know if like there was like a superhero community funeral for him,
Mm-hmm.
because like Clint, I feel like Clint would want to be at that funeral.
I feel like Clint would, yeah.
Bucky,
Um,
obviously, because he owes a lot to
Obviously
Wakanda.
Bucky.
They got rid of his brainwashing.
Mm-hmm. Gave him a new arm.
So those are the things like I wish, but again, I know you don't want to put that in your film because that means you have to try and get everyone, and everyone is on their full MCU like recording train right now. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, those were the only like real things. Because I'm like, damn, dude, again, get some help. And phase four, man, you either pass your title on to someone else or you have a kid.
Yeah, that is was the theme of Phase 4. Pass your title on or have a kid.
And then Ant-Man, we'll see. It's November recording. We'll get December. January tickets will probably go on. So we'll probably get another
Mm-hmm.
trailer. I'm gonna go on. It might come early, but I'm gonna say right now, I'm guessing Ant-Man 2, the second trailer, or tickets on sale. The college football national championship around that time.
Because that would be like a month before the movie comes out.
Hmm.
I can see that.
And the movie comes out the 17th. I need to just
Yeah.
check one because that'd be their last chance to promote too. They could have a final another trailer during the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl is on the 12th.
Yeah. They'll probably have like a some like little 30-second teaser
Yeah,
trailer
yeah, because
during the
tickets will be
Super
on sale
Bowl.
way before that.
Hmm.
And we'll see, man. But anything else on Black Panther Wakanda Forever, man?
Like you said, it was just an emotional movie. Like throughout, they did like little tributes for him. Of course, they did the Marvel opening where it was just T'Challa, and then like at the end of the movie, Rihanna's song is playing, and you just see images of Black Panther, and then there's a screen that says dedicated to our friend Chadwick Boseman. So I think the tributes to him were done very, very well. Before the movie came out, Ryan Coogler, no, it was Kevin Feige said we didn't want to recast T'Challa because the world is dealing with a great loss, so we wanted to reflect that in the movie, and I think they did a beautiful, beautiful job of it.
Agreed. 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 Last thing was a very sad thing that just happened this Friday. Kevin Conroy, for everyone who has watched the Batman animated series, Justice League, Arkham video games, and Justice, you know him as the voice of Batman. He died unexpectedly at 66 on that Friday of the 12th. No, of the
Hmm.
11th. So
Yeah.
that was big. I mean, dude's been Batman for 3 decades, 3 dozen television shows, movies, video games. Like it's a big deal. I mean, anytime someone who picks up a comic book like reads it out, you read it in his voice.
Hmm.
So just he voiced Batman from the animated series 1992 to 96, as well as 15 films, 15 other different animated series, and 2 dozen video games.
It's just that's amazing. He definitely is one of the goats. Like you said, when you think of Batman, you think of him. Like when you think of Joker, you think of Mark Hamill. And just like all the tweets and the tributes, the actors who've worked with him, just it was a beautiful. I mean, it was a sad day, but just see all the community come together and just recognize Kevin Conroy as the GOAT was. It was beautiful to see everyone come together on a very hard day.
Yeah, like for the who's been voicing Joker too, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. I mean, he had his tribute. Like everyone was having their tributes for the people who worked with him. Warner Brothers, like the official Batman Twitter is like it's a big deal because it's like he was gonna be one of the reasons I was gonna go to the Galaxy thing that's in Ohio, like the super big Comic Con where everyone's gonna be there.
Hmm.
And then now it's like him passing unexpectedly. It looks like he was battling a little bit of cancer. I mean, he was like
Hmm.
a smoker, I believe, but it's crazy. It's crazy when like you see when one of those voices who defined your childhood is gone because then you're never going to hear him in new stuff again. You're only going to be able to relive the old stuff.
Yeah.
So, but just condolences to his family, his close friends, the millions of fans around the world. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but the Empire State Building lit a bat signal up over the weekend in honor of him.
Oh no, I didn't see that. That's
Hmm.
amazing.
So that's how big a deal he is and was. So the greatest Batman ever. Just again, salute and condolences again to the family and friends. But Byron, man, I think that's it. Covered Black Adam, Black Panther. I mean, what? Paid our respects to the GOAT. Superman is back. We talked about that.
Superman is back. I
Gunn
don't
and them taking over DC.
Man is Steel 2 coming sometime soon, huh? I'm
Something's happening. He's
excited.
going to be working because, I mean, for Witcher fans, he dropped Witcher.
But also he was having a little creative dispute with the writers of Witcher because he wanted it to be more like the lore and how it was written, but the writers wanted to do something different with this. They were button heads, so I think maybe if had paid attention to the guy who was invested in the Witcher project, wanted to be Geralt, maybe he would have stayed on. But I think him getting the invite back to DC definitely helped him leave the Witcher series. But I think he did amazing as a Witcher. I wish he could have stayed on
Yeah,
for
he did
season
really
four.
well. It's just timing. Superman's
Yeah.
back, and then literally the next day, Liam Hemsworth is replaced. Like the timing just, it's like, all right, he's going to be super busy now because they're going to put him in everything, which, I mean, he's Superman. Then
Hmm.
we don't have time for The Witcher.
Yeah. So Black Adam 2 was probably Black Adam versus Superman.
Yeah, which is weird because, Shazam, but
Or Shazam. Got it on the back burner because Superman returned.
it's because The Rock wants to fight Superman.
That's true. It's
It's
because The
because
Rock
The
wants this
Rock
fight.
wants to do it. That's where it all's coming from.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. So, Byron, we're again, same question we asked for the movies, though. The Avengers assemble once after Ant-Man.
If Ant-Man dies, like we think he is going to, they're going to have to assemble because Kang is going to escape the Quantumania and going to wreak havoc on Earth.
Yeah, because the last time they quasi had like any semblance of a meeting was Shang-Chi.
Yeah, at the end, when they're Wong, Captain Marvel, and Bruce are talking to Shang-Chi about his 10 rings are sending a beacon to somewhere. We don't know where, it's
The
sending
streets are
somewhere.
saying it's Kang.
The streets are saying Kang because his technology, the 10 rings look like Kang's technology, and the Quantum Mania, along with Miss Marvel's bracelets. So the rumor is he's trying to escape the Quantum Mania to get those artifacts to like power his like chair or something.
Yeah, and then we'll lead into Kang Dynasty, and then Secret Wars after that. We got a long way to go, but this is the last thing of 2022, and Black Panther did it justice in the end.
I did it justice. I'm happy that we ended the way we ended Phase 4. Definitely ready for Phase 5 and all the craziness that's about to ensue. First couple projects are Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and then Secret Invasion
Nicholas Fury J.
coming back, trying to fight the Kree on his own. Or Skrulls, I can't remember which one it is. I think
Maria's in that movie. I mean, show.
yeah, she is, but I think the first couple episodes is gonna try to push her away because we've seen that in the trailer, and then like the last half they'll like team up and hopefully we'll get some other cameos from Avengers
We'll
because
see.
you can't really take the Kree or Skrull invasion on your own. Like that's a tall task.
So we'll see. We'll see. Anything else?
No, Gotham Knights came out from our last preview. I've been enjoying the game. Today I just progressed further in the story, met with the Court of Owls, and excited to see where this goes.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that game is out. There's already some. There's a YouTube video on like gameplay between Gotham Knights and Arkham Knight, the last like single player DC game, and it's been on stream today. Make sure you check all that out. And yeah, man, the superhero stuff. There's going to be a lot in 2023, so just buckle up and be ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
We'll
with
be
that
back.
being said, this is the L7C podcast. Check out Black Adam. If you're in a motion, make sure you got your tissues ready for Wakanda Forever. And then rest in peace again to the GOAT, Kevin Conroy. This is the L7C podcast signing out.